Okay, welcome to the second in the Blender game character tutorials. In the last tutorial we set up our animation for this character, having him operating through here, and we've set up our little walk cycle and our jump cycle. I'm just going to go back here, set this back to frame 1 and come back to game. Alright, so just keeping an eye on our little window here. Now, what we're going to do in this tutorial is we are going to create the game character box around our object. We are going to add a plane shape, which I've got here. We're going to add a plane shape. We're going to get the character ready to operate. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is to unhide our cube, or in this case, because I've had a crash, I've had to open this again, add a cube in. Now we want our cube to be, I'm just going to press Alt G, and not giving me my keys. I'll just turn that off, turn that on again. There we go, working again, that's good. Alright, and forget about that. We're going to come into here, and I'm going to grab this on the Z axis, move it down to about 7. Just a minute. Damn it. Okay, we're going to scale this down. Now what we want to do is this character has to sort of sit inside this box. This is going to be the actual game character we're using in the game. So we need to scale it on all axes so that this is sort of in the middle. So I'm just going to press S to scale it on the Y and get this pretty close to the center of the character. Now I can go 1 or 7 and scale it on the X as well, so that the box is basically just surrounding the boundary of the character like that. Now this is very important. It's a good idea you save this at this point. So we're just going to hit Shift S, Control S and save, not Shift S, Control S. And because when we get two objects in Blender, they tend to explode apart. And if you press P now, you might find that UPBGE crashes. This is an alpha version, which is a very early version of UPBGE, so it's not yet stable. So we're going to have to set this up correctly first, otherwise we might crash out our program. So what we want is for this object in here, this guy here, to be a non-actor. So it's not a physical object. It's a visible object, but not a physical object. So we come here to our, keep him as static, we come here to the physics, and we have to tick ghost on here. If ghost is not ticked, tick it now. What that will mean is it can exist inside this box without causing a issue, without it trying to explode apart in the game. Now when I press play, you'll notice I've got my box and I can't see the character. So one of the things we're going to have to do here is make this box invisible, which we'll get to in a second. The other thing we have to do is, if I move my box, press play, you can see the box and the character aren't linked. So the character is currently linked to the armature, and if I move, go into pose mode for example, and move this bone here, he moves, but he is not hooked. This bone is not hooked up to this box, so we need this bone selected to the box. So we select that first, hold shift, select that. Screencast keys aren't working again, that's unreliable. And so we select that, then select that first, then we go Control P and parent the armature to the box. Now what that should mean is when I select the box, everything moves, which is exactly what we want. Okay, so the box should move the character. Alright, having done that, we now need to make the box invisible. And at the moment our box is set up as a static as well. It needs to be a character. So we get character, actor, turn on collision bounds, leave box on because it's already a box. So it will just mean it will behave like a box in the game, which is what we want. Alright, so the box has character, actor, collision bounds. The character, if I select him, is static and ghost, which means he's invisible as far as this is concerned. Now we have to select our cube, which is the box, and let's just rename that up the top there and call it character. What that's going to mean is it's going to make it easier for us to know we're working with the character down here in the scripting window. So let's set this up so that it's invisible. We're going to go always, because it always has to be invisible, and in actuator, actually I'll just make that bigger for you. In actuator, we're going to go to, obviously, visibility. Join always to visibility and untick visible, which means it will be invisible. So this is the real object that we're moving and colliding with things, but you won't see it in the game because now it is invisible. Now he's fallen out of frame because we've got no floor, so let's deal with that. Okay, zooming out here, I want my cursor in the middle of the screen, so Shift S turns on the pie menu for this. We want cursor to world origin, which puts it right in the center. Make sure your character is above it, although you can just do that after you've added the plane shape. Add a mesh plane. Notice the mesh plane is static. It doesn't have to be an actor, and I'm going to scale it to 50 so I've got a nice big world for him to exist in. So now when we press play, our character just stands there because the box is sitting on the floor. That's what we need. Okay, so now with my character selected, I now need to add my keyboard controls. So I'm minimizing those. I'll show you this once because there's another tutorial on setting up movement in characters in this. So I'm only going to show you one of them and you can set up the rest yourself. So keyboard, we want W because we're going to use WASD. In here we want motion, we want join the W key to the motion. So when we press the W key it will do this motion. We want him to move forward. You can see the arrow is pointing backwards on the y-axis, so this is going to be a negative y value, and this character is very small, so we're going to go negative 0.05, which should be enough movement. I might make it a bit smaller, 0.25. Alright, let's see how that goes. So if I press P and I press W, that's pretty good. It's a bit laggy. I think that's because I'm capturing video here, although it may just be that I've got too high a poly character. It won't matter because this is not for you to finish off a game with. This is just for you to learn this technique. So I'm going to minimize those and add in the rest of my keyboard inputs for forward, backwards, left, right. One more thing before I do that, I'm just going to label this as W. So when I have this minimized, I can still see that's my forward key. Okay, so I've set up all my keyboard inputs for my WASD. I've added motions according to which axis they're going on. So if I press P to test that, I should be able to move him to the left, move him to the right, move him backwards, move him forwards. I now want to add my jump. So I'm going to do the same thing again, add keyboard, spacebar for the jump, motion. Now in here I need to go from simple motion to character motion, and if I go into here you can see I get the option of clicking jump. Join on that. Let's just test my jump. Press the spacebar, there he goes, he's jumping. Now I'm not sure if I'm happy with how high he's jumping. We can always adjust the jump height up here with the jump force over here, but that's probably okay. Now, one more thing I want to do with my character, I want him to rotate with the mouse movement, so I'll just show you that again. Again, there's a tutorial on this, so I'm not going to take a long time. We go mouse, we choose movement, we choose mouse again, we choose look, and we're turning off the y-axis on this one. The camera would be leaving the y-axis on and turning off the x-axis. So now when I move, I should be able to move my character by rotating my mouse. Jump works, forwards works, and I should be able to just sort of drive him around like that. And again, if you're not happy with the speed, you can change the speed on your keyboard. So, so I've got all my motions on here at the moment. So what I need to do now is I'm going to, now this game might be set up so that you have it as a first person shooter, so you'd have a camera on his, basically where his face would be. You could set it up so you've got an over the shoulder shot. We're going to set that up at the moment, and again this is the same as we did in the last tutorial, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. I'm going to unhide my camera here. There's my camera. You can see I have already put it into place. I need to parent it to the cube, so that's shift and select the cube second, then control P, parent to object, and then I need to go into my camera alone, and I need to use mouse, choose movement, and I need to choose mouse over here, choose look, turn off x-axis. Let's have a look through the camera. There's going to be laggy as hell. P, and move it down, move it up. So that gives me the ability to do that. Right, so that's got that done. Camera is now active. 3 on the num-block keypad, click in here. 3, yep, okay. Keypad's not working again. Screencast keys are not yet reliable in UPBGE. Alright, so we've got this all set up and ready to go. What we have to do now is we are wanting to add our actions that we made in our animation. So I'm going to go back to the animation window. I'm going to select my armature. I'm in Action Editor. I need to go Action Editor, and I probably need to go into pose mode so I can see these. Alright, here we go. Alright, selecting all of these, I can see that walk is between frame 1 and frame 48. So I'm actually going to shorten that down when I do this. I'll just show you what we're going to do. We need to select both the character so we can get the movements, and we need to have our armature section here. Now the armature is where the walk is going to appear. So you go into action. Remember, we use the action editor to make it. In play, maybe play, I can never remember whether it's loop end, loop stop, ping pong, flipper. I'll just try loop end, and I'm going to choose walk. And walk, I'm going to start at frame 2 and end at frame 47, just to be clever about this. Now, my mouse motion should have its legs moving because it's turning, so I will join, so I'm using my mouse motion here to activate the movement plus the animation. So now when I press play, if I move my mouse, it goes through the walk cycle. Now you can see it's only gone through it once and stopped. So try, got loop end, loop stop maybe? Shouldn't be loop stop, I would have thought it would be. Let's see. No, that's not working at all. Try play. That's working. Ah, yeah, that's working. Play works good. Alright, so as we go around, it keeps walking. And so this gives the impression that it's you know, using its legs to do all this movement. Okay, and obviously I need to do the same thing. Now, this one was keyboard. I forgot to name this. That's the jump, so I need to just rename that jump so I can see that. Now, jump isn't going to be the same action, is it? So it's going to be a second action. It's going to be action again, and I need to go action again. I need to choose the action. Which action was it? There it is. Yep, action, jump. Now, I believe that was from 60 to something. Let's go check the animation. Select that. Yep, 60 to 89. So go back to game. So go back to selecting the box as well. So my section action is going to be play again, and it's going to be, let's just zoom that in. It's going to be frame 60 to frame 89, did I say? So every time I press the jump key, which is the space bar here, I want it to do this one, which is to jump. So let's press it. And you can see the jump action has moved. Alright, all the other keyboard inputs, A, D, and C, and etc. are all going to have to go into this first one. So this one goes into here, so it will move to there. This one goes into there as well. So you can see why the AND is useful here, because it allows it to do two things. Do this and that. Do that and that. So now, when I move my character forwards, backwards, left or right, move him around on his thing, he should be walking the whole time. Jump, he should make his jump and go and do all those actions. So that's it, guys. That's how you animate a character and set up a game character inside of UPBGE. Thank you for watching.